The sleep gap that is holding you back. Hi, my name is Ashdin Doctor, and I'm known as the habit coach. Now, I wasn't always known as the habit coach, okay? So before this habit coaching thing, my habits were very like that. And I used to be a person who used to run the company Ormax. We used to have a market research business. And I was this typical type A person. Do you guys know what a type A person is? Type A person is that go hard or go home. Suna hai? Right? I have to win at every cost. Suna hai? I used to be the kind that would say that, if I can't win, then what is the point in taking part only? I had to win. I had to be the best. And that was the mindset that I had. And just like with all these other words that I used to say, there was another one that is very interesting. I used to say this all the time. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And I used to wear this as a badge of honor. Oh, I just had 3 hours of sleep. Oh, I just had 2 hours of sleep. And I would tell people this so proudly. And at that point of time, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I wasn't worried about my health. The concept of health didn't exist. I used to eat so much. Gym, forget about it. Sleep, though, was a waste of time. So as a result, what used to happen was I used to be in this constant state of tiredness. Now, one fine day, I'm getting ready for a presentation. Now, how do we work on our presentations? Last minute panic. Correct? All of us last minute panic. So we had to procrastinate for 1 month and finally 3 days left to finish this presentation. So now 3 days I am staying awake every single night, working on this presentation, getting it ready. I don't think I slept for those 2 nights. And I'm finally getting ready for this presentation. I've had my shower, I come out, I put on my shirt, and suddenly it is soaking wet. I can feel my heart going tuk, 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 tuk. And it's about to jump out of my chest. I collapse on the floor. I'm about 30, 31 at the time. Okay. This was a wake-up call for me because there were these 2 voices going on in my head at the time. There was this one voice saying that, Ashdin, you're going to die. And there's another voice that was saying, congratulations, Ashdin, you worked so hard, you're going to die. We have these 2 voices within us. And it is so important to silence one and listen to the other. So, at that moment, I said, life has to change. I can't continue like this. I got into fitness. I got into trying every single diet. I lost weight. But there was only one thing that made the biggest difference, which was sleep. And I did not realize it at that point because our entire Instagram feed is only people going hard or going home. Isn't that? I want to tell you, going home is also a very good thing from time to time. And it's important to get that rest in. So, I dived straight head on into this world of sleep. And what is the number one advice we get on sleep? Sleep how many hours? Sleep 8 hours. Sleep 8 hours. I said, chalo, I'll try sleeping 8 hours. Finished that. And then I got into this very interesting world called biohacking. Have you heard of biohacking? No, now it's becoming popular. Back then, 10 years ago, nobody understood what it was. Biohacking is basically trying to figure out how you can change your environment externally to change your internal environment to boost your own productivity or boost whatever goal you have. So as a result, all the lights in my house were set on an auto timer that at 9:30 in the night, they would all turn red. Red because red promotes sleep. Blue light makes you awake. Red light puts you to sleep. So everything would go to, would turn red at that time. Now, some days we had guests over for dinner. Suddenly, automatic timer lights have gone off. Everything is red. But that was the trouble of coming to a biohacker's house at that time. I had every single wearable known to man. I had the bands, I had the rings. I even had this one thing that would sit next to my bed and use radar to see if I was turning or not in my sleep. Very expensive. I would not recommend that. I had these glasses that I would wear every night to limit the exposure to the light. I even used to mouth tape. You tape your mouth so you breathe through your nose. I did all of these crazy things. And as a result, my sleep scores were through the roof. 96, 97, 98, 99 out of 100 every night. I used to feel supercharged in the morning. I used to be awake. I used to tell all my friends. I used to tell my clients, you used to focus on sleep. And it was so interesting because my life changed. I was vibrant. And every time I told this to my clients or told this to my friends, this is the answer that they would give me. Sleep. Only unmotivated people sleep. 8 hours. Who has time for that? Lazy people sleep. Entitled people sleep. I'm not that entitled. I have things to do. And I suddenly realized that everyone is thinking about sleep in this one directed way. And that's when I had this idea saying that, listen, sleep needs to fire its marketing team. Whoever is doing the marketing for sleep is doing a terrible job. How many of you all are in business marketing right here? Right? Wouldn't you fire sleep if this was the way it was being portrayed? Nonsense. Everything is 8 hours. One billboard, 8 hours of sleep, and that is what has gussoed into everybody's mind. We need to change our perception about the way that we think about sleep completely. Imagine if I told you instead, sleep is when the body repairs what the waking life wears down. Now suddenly you're saying, yeah, I want to sleep more. I want to repair myself more. What if I told you sleep doesn't remove hours from your day, but it adds quality to the hours that you have? It's not removing 8 hours. It's not, even if 8 hours is a serious thing. It's not removing 8 hours, but it's adding quality to the rest of your life. We live digital lives right now, right? We are governed by this thing in our pocket. We are governed by this window that we look into and see the rest of the world. It's so funny. Sometimes we look at a big screen, looking at a medium screen with a small screen in our hand, right? It's so funny just how much digital noise is around us. Our journey is to move from digital to analog. What is analog? Analog is physical things that you can touch. Knitting and stitching. Grandparents used to do this. Now, for some strange reason, it is coming back as a very big thing. If you go on YouTube and you can find people stitching and knitting. I think it's a fantastic thing to do at night before sleeping. The darkness, sitting in the darkness automatically makes your body get into a state of comfort and safety. Reading, listening to music that is not on an app. Actually having CDs, maybe a record player, maybe the old time cassettes, all of those things. Journaling, putting down your thoughts. Because what does journaling do? Journaling takes the kachra that is filled up in our mind, the junk that is filled up in our mind, and puts it out on paper. Now, if you think about it, what is the biggest reason why we don't get sleep? Isn't it the junk in our mind? Why is there so much junk? Because you haven't cleaned it out. Every time it comes up to the surface, we say, not now, not now, not now. Journaling helps you get it out of your system. And then one of my favorite new things to do is coloring. It adds so much fun. The problem is that when we were in school, we were taught there was a right way to color and a wrong way to color. Has anyone ever failed an art exam? I failed art exam. I wonder, how can you fail an art exam? It's subjective. No, you failed it. Fantastic. So as an adult, I realized that you can't fail art. Just draw whatever you want. Express yourself. Because this is what is missing right now. Nobody needs to see it. No validation is needed. But these are the simple analog habits. If you want to get a little more hardcore, then we come to, you have to go and take a hot water bath, because that reduces your body temperature, increases your body temperature. So when you come into your bedroom, you feel cool. Instead of the darkness, use candlelight. Because as humans, we've grown up with flickering lights at night. It soothes the system. Give yourself a massage. Massage your head, massage your toes. Use a nice oil. Meditate, one of the hardest things to do. How can I meditate? I can't keep my mind quiet right now for 30 seconds. You want me to meditate for 5 minutes? Impossible. Start. Practice. Chamomile tea instead of your coffee. Such a small shift from something that stimulates you to something that relaxes you. It is still something warm in your hand. It is still something that you will make physically, but it is something that will soothe you. And finally, the worst thing that we never want to do it, folding our clothes and putting it away. Night time, best time to do it. You have nothing better to do. Fold the clothes at that point of time, put it away. You've killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, these seem very simple. These seem very obvious. How many do we do? 0. Right? The reason why I've given you simple things is because if you only start with the simple things, will you ever graduate to the more advanced stuff? We want to do the advanced stuff. Acha, Ashdin, what mouth tape you use to make sure that your hair doesn't get pulled out? No. First start with a dark room. Then we will talk about mouth tape. Then we will talk about tracking your sleep. But first start with the basics. Now, how do we put all of this together? We do something known as a sleep routine. Okay? This is a sleep routine. What is a sleep routine? Have you ever put a baby to bed? Have you seen your nieces, nephews being put to bed? Do they say, play, 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 and then say, abhi so ja? No. But that's what we do. We watch an action movie and then say, now I have to go to sleep. We, have one full dopamine-fueled swiping session for 1.5 hours on our phone and then say, now I will rest. No, you're stimulated. You cannot rest. It's like giving that child sugar and then telling the child to go to sleep. Impossible. But that's what we do to ourselves. But how do we put a baby to sleep? All babies have a routine. You will first give them a bath, you will make them change their clothes, then you'll give them a lullaby, then you'll give them a kissy, and then they'll go to sleep. We are adult babies. Okay, all of us are adult babies. We need the same kind of routine as children do. So think of yourself as a baby just before you go to sleep. This is one of my favorite little pictures from the presentation. So what we do is called the habit train, keeping to the kiddo theme. I love the idea of a train when it comes to habit routines. Why? Because a train has only one engine that pulls all the carriages. In the same way, you only need one habit that is going to pull all the carriages. If you miss that first habit, none of the carriages will move. So you have to get this perfect. What is the first habit all of us need to do who want to change our sleep routine is to set a sleep alarm. Like how I had that alarm that at 9:30 put off all the lights in my house. Same thing, but less fancy, is an alarm on your phone that says now it is time to sleep. An actual alarm that will ring and remind you to get out of bed and go, not get out of bed, get out of whatever you're doing, switch off your TV, switch off your series, and then get ready for bed. So what you do is you set a sleep alarm, and the first thing you put to bed is your phone. Where do you put this to bed? Not next to your bed, far away from your bed. So at the other end of your room, put your charger, connect your phone, and almost sing it a lullaby. Sing good night. Thank you so much for giving me anxiety for the rest of the meaning for my entire day. Now it is time for you to go to bed. Your job is done. Then you get on with the next habit. Go have a shower, for example. Now that you're clean, you changed your clothes, darken the room. Don't darken the room before you go for a shower because you know what's going to happen afterwards. You're going to fall down, slip, etc. So you do it afterwards. Then make yourself a nice cup of chamomile tea, sit it, sip it, just feel relaxed. Get your little drawing book, paint a little, journal a little, sip your tea, and automatically you will realize that your nervous system regulates itself. You will relax, and then you will slowly drift off. Now, the key part with sleep is what? From the time we were children, we were taught this one thing, to fight our sleep. Have you seen children fighting and sleep? No, I don't want to go to sleep. We are babies, we do that. What we have to do is, as soon as you feel that first, hota hai? Happens? As soon as you feel that first thak is when you get up and sit in the bed. Till then, you don't get into bed. Because if you're in bed and saying, sleep is not coming, sleep is not coming, sleep is not coming, sleep is not coming, it's not going to come. You have to sit on your sofa, feel that first thadak, get up and go sit in your bed. And that is when that sleep is going to be deep, it's going to be restful, and it's going to be perfect. I want to leave you with one key thought about this whole digital world versus analog world. What is the digital world's biggest competition? It is not other apps. It is your sleep. Have you ever thought about that? A movie watching program's biggest competition is not social media. Social media's biggest competition is not your music app. It is your sleep. Because they are fighting for every second that you spend on the screen. If they can keep you awake for 1 more hour, 2 more hours, they have won this battle. And who has lost this battle? You. Not just your health, but the next day of your life has been ruined because of this. So look at your competition and understand that what you're feeding. And I want to leave you with one haiku that I love. Your best day is born in the quiet of the night. Guard the dark with care. Thank you.